For over 60 years, the Ford Mustang has met performance with V8 power and rear-wheel drive. It's interesting to note that every year that it has been produced, except for 1974 because of the oil crisis, our favorite pony car has had a V8 as an option. What you might not know is that some of the car nuts inside Ford actually played around with and created a V10 Mustang. The year was 2002, and the Mustang, while competitive in the pony car market, would have to exercise a major leap to compete with the likes of the Corvette Z06 and the Dodge Viper. And that required more power. Enter a group of engineers ready to go big or go home, headed by Kevin Bird, the head of Ford's Powertrain Research and Advanced Engine Development Group. They decided that if a V8 was good, then a V10 would be even better. Now, this was not funded by SVT or SVE, meaning there was not much of a budget. So engineering, passion, and creativity would reign supreme on this one. Now, you would think that a logical beginning to this beast of a Mustang would start with the already available 6.8-liter single overhead cam Triton V10 from the Ford truck lineup. But that was not the case. The truck's cast iron power plant was a tall deck engine and would require way too many modifications to make it work. The new power plant itself was a one-off aluminum block stuffed with a billet crank, turning Terminator Manley H-beam rods and 10-to-1 compression pistons from the 2000 Cobra R. Cylinder heads were also based off the Cobra R, but obviously redesigned with one more cylinder on each. The wild-looking cross-ram design intake manifold was handmade, based off the 2000 Cobra R piece, but extensively modified to fit the longer V10. Two 80mm mass aerometers feed twin 70mm throttle bodies, which are controlled by a unique pulley and cable system mounted on the intake runners. It's the kind of system that synchronized two outboard motors on a boat. Down below, two Canton oil pans were cut up and re-welded. There was some serious garage fabrication going on here, folks. This was a passion project by these Ford engineers and car nuts, not a 9-to-5 job. They used parts that they had laying around, with any purchases made quietly on the team's corporate credit card. The Oddfire crankshaft had a 72-degree offset and utilized two crankshaft and camshaft position sensors. Engine control came in the form of two EEC5 processors, essentially one controlling each side of the engine, with the setup producing a very unique exhaust note. Exhaust gases were handled by handmade 5-3-1 headers, going to an X-pipe into Walker Dynamax mufflers. Engine displacement came in at 5.8 liters, or just about 351 cubic inches. It produced 426 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 400 pound-feet of torque at 5,200 RPM. Remember, this was naturally aspirated power back in 2002. Now, with the engine ready, what should it go in? The recipient was a run-of-the-mill, unassuming 1999 silver Mustang GT that had once served as a test mule for the 2000 Cobra R engine. Wearing a Cobra R hood and Saleen wheels, it might look like any other new edge out there. Keen eyes will notice the Running Horse V6 emblems on the fenders and a few throwback Boss 351 decals around the car. Or maybe you notice the 9901 amber taillights or what appears to be a 2001 bullet grille. But the modifications here was in what you couldn't see. The engineers got to work pulling out the 5.4-liter 4-valve and dropping in the V10. A tubular K-member and the aforementioned headers helped it to fit. Oddly enough, the V10 is said to have only added 4 inches to the front of the engine, so front engine accessories were not an issue. Backing the mighty V10 is a T56 6-speed transmission, sending power to a Ford 9-inch rear end with 3.83-to-1 rear gears. The interior was pretty much standard 99 GT, with the addition of charcoal Terminator Cobra seats and a pair of Autometer Pro Comp gauges in an A-pillar pod. There was also a pretty large warning label proclaiming passenger airbag disabled. How fast was it? Well, quarter mile came in at about 11.93 seconds at 117 miles an hour. With Mickey Thompson ET Street tires, it actually went 11.51 at 118. While most test mules and prototype cars are crushed, members of the team worked hard to hide the Boss 351 for years. Today, the car is very much alive and is being restored and updated so that it will live on for car enthusiasts to learn about and admire, and also to inspire future engineers and let them know that their enthusiasm can produce these kinds of projects. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, or better yet, make sure you subscribe to get all the latest content here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.